Good morning. My name is Barbara. I'm the Environmental Education Manager at Cape Fear Botanical Garden. Thank you for joining us today for our super cool class, Super Soils. We're going to learn all about why soil is so important to our ecosystem and our world, the different types of soil and what it's made of, all those kinds of things. But first, I have a really important announcement. We had tons of people come out to do the bear hunt last weekend, and we had 19 families who found all 15 bears in the garden and submitted all their pictures. And so today we are going to pick a winner for the teddy bear and gift card prize. So I'm going to let Leah pick so there can be any accusations of... There we go. All right, and this is Jennifer Button. Congratulations. You will get an email or call later today. You are our lucky winner.
Yay!
Yeah. All right, so right on the soil. Soil is the outermost layer of the earth. And sometimes we just dismiss it, it's just dirt. And dirt is kind of this word we use for soil when it gets places we don't like in our house or on our clothes. Actually, soil, especially outside, is this really important part of our ecosystem and our world. And you might have sometimes wondered what actually is soil, and if you have, the answer might surprise you. Half of soil is actually air and water. That's this red and this blue on our little pie chart here. That half of soil is made up of air and water, and those holes and water in the soil are actually just as important as the other parts. Another 45% of soil is minerals, and that might be what you kind of think of, rocks that have broken down, little bits of minerals in the earth. And there's also 5% of soil that's organic material, and that can be sizable things we can see, like a millipede or a snail, but it also includes a lot of little microorganisms, as well as things that have broken down, like leaves that used to be a part of a living tree, but have now broken down to be an organic part of the soil. And that's a really important part of our soil, because it's actually a big part of how our soil helps us grow things. So, on to why soil is so important. That's our number one reason. Almost all of our food is grown in soil. And soil is a really important resource for farmers. When soil isn't healthy, we can get things like the Dust Bowl, where a lot of loose, dry soil started to blow away, and it was very hard to grow food. And so soil, especially topsoil, this important, healthy, organic, material-rich layer on the top of the earth, is really important for farmers. Soil is also a really important part of the ecosystem. It helps recycle nutrients back into the earth. It helps plants grow and stay healthy. It helps control fungi and plant pests and diseases and weeds. When we have healthy soil, we have healthy ecosystems. Soil is also what is called a carbon sink. And that means that it absorbs carbon. So all this carbon dioxide that trees and plants take out of the air as they're putting out oxygen, most of us know trees help make us healthy air. Well, what do they actually do with the carbon dioxide that they take in? Some of it actually ends up in the soil. And so by having healthy soils, they absorb more of that carbon dioxide, and that helps keep our planet from heating up. Soil is also the foundation of our houses, an important part of gardening, and a home for lots of animals like these little guys that we have on our bulletin board, rodents and worms. So, soil is super important. There are a lot of different kinds of soil. There's sandy soils like the beach and thick red clay soils like you get in a lot of North Carolina. The primary way that soil is actually classified is by the size of the soil particles. And so sand has big visible particles. If you get some sand in your hand, you can actually probably see the individual grains of sand. Pieces of silica, which is what we make glass out of, and little bits of shell. You can see each particle. Most farm field soil, or a lot of forest soil, has a lot of silt in it. That's our medium-sized particle. And then the smallest size particle, where you can't even see the individual particles, and where it rolls up tightly into a ball, especially when wet, is clay. Here's some clay soil. Sometimes clays can be red, but they can also come in all colors.
They stain your shoes.
Those different soils actually separate out at different speeds. water moves through them differently. And if we put them together in a jar and shook it, eventually they'd separate out into layers. And we can actually see how long it takes the different particles by shaking up the different jars. So here's our sand. I'm going to shake it, and we'll leave it to settle. Here's silt, and humus, rich organic layer, and here is clay. You can do this at home with some soil from your yard. You don't actually have to separate it first. You can see the directions in our book, 200 Plus Ways to Explore Nature Outdoors. It's available for free download online. And you just mix some water in with different kinds of soil, put it in an old empty jar or an empty water bottle, and you can watch it separate out over time. And you'll see that our sand separated out the fastest right away, those big particles. They're heavier and they sunk right to the bottom. And it's taking just a little bit longer for the other one. The longest will be the clay. You can also model how soil moves. If you have a few friends or willing family participants that you can rope in, you can model at home how water moves through soil. So first, I'm going to be a sand particle. I'm a big sand particle. I hold my hands up all the way. If I had another person, I'd have them stand fingertip to fingertip with me. And then someone else can try to move between us. And as you probably imagine, that person will be able to push my arm aside and move on through. And that's just how sand is. Water just flows easily through the sand. You might see this at the beach when waves wash through the sand. Now, I'm going to be silt. When I'm a silt particle, I stand elbow to elbow with the person next. Now, a water particle person can still kind of force their way through us. They can probably push my elbow aside and force their way through, but it's a little bit harder. It's not quite so easy to push aside. And that's how silt is. And now, kind of do a penguin interpretation, stand shoulder to shoulder, real close next to each other. And those are clay particles. And if another person tries to force their way between me and another clay particle that's shoulder to shoulder with me, they're probably going to have a pretty hard time. It's actually really hard to get through there. And that's why we make things out of clay, like clay pots. We bake it and harden it and form it. We can actually get clay that can hold water, prevent water from getting through. If you have too much clay in your soil, that can hold water too. It's like a clay pot in the ground. The water's not draining through it. So here's a question for you at home. Which kind of soil, clay, silt, or sand, do you think would be best to have in a farmer's field? If I want to grow food, which kind of soil do I want? Well, it does depend what exactly I want to grow. Different plants are different. But most farmers want something with a certain amount of silt in it. That's because some water moves through it, but not too much. The plants need some water, so we don't want all the water to flow out like through sand. But the plants don't want too much water, like they're sitting in a clay pot and they're just drowning. So silt and different kinds of silt mixed soils help us usually get about the right amount of water. Now, humus is this very important part of soil, and it's usually right on the top of soil. And it can be mixed in with silt. Excuse me, I forgot to turn my phone on before I leave. Silt has this humus mixed into it. Now, humus can mix with other things, but it's often in a topsoil layer. It's what we call that organic layer of the soil. So right under, if you went outside and brushed away the pine needles or the grass or whatever was right on top, under that, you might see this rich, dark color, like this. That has lots of little bits of organic things in it. You might be able to see broken down leaves, little bits of plant root, pieces of pine needle in there. That's your humus. It's the organic layer of the soil, and it's super important for new plants to grow and for absorbing the nutrients from old plants. Soil has a lot of layers, and they actually can tell us about the past. You might have seen dinosaur bones buried at different deep layers and geologists using soil layers. But we can also use them to tell other things about soil health and different kinds of soil that we have. Here we have a soil layer demonstration, and you can actually see the humus on the top, that underneath soil, topsoil, subsoil, and all the way down to where the rock, the bedrock, is breaking away underneath, and then you get pieces of broken rock underneath in the subsoil. So, it's How do scientists study that? They use something called a soil core. Now these can come in giant ones the size of a big truck, or they can come in small ones like the one I have here. And this is a soil core that I actually took in the garden today. You can see a lot of that rich, healthy soil that plants like to grow in, but up here you can also see a bit of that clayey red soil, and see how there's a pretty clear line break between them. Soil often forms those clear layers. Remember we talked about it separating out in the water? Well, it does that in the ground too. It takes a long time for new soil to form. Soil can form when rock is exposed by wind or ice or water, and then breaks down over time. Or it can form when water deposits new bits of soil, or plant matter breaks down and deposits things into a new area. But it takes a long time, 200 to 400 years, for 1 centimeter of soil to form. Now, depending on how hot or cold your environment is, that affects it a little bit. Tropical areas, it more likely takes about 200 years, and then further north, in like the northern United States and Canada, it's going to be closer to 400 years. But that's just 1 centimeter of soil. That takes 400 years. It's a really long time, and that's why it's so important for us to protect our soil. And you know what? Where soil that's fertile hasn't existed before, it takes even longer. If there's no soil in an area, it can take up to 3,000 years for fertile soil to form. And that's a really long time. I like to model the layers of soil in North Carolina by actually using myself, because it kind of helps me remember the different soil layers. So first of all, soil usually has some stuff like grass and plants and things growing on top. Do you have something kind of wavy on top of you? You probably do. There's your hair. So that's my grass layer. Then, between about my eyebrows and the top of my head, is my just like leaf litter and humus layer, organic matter. Then, from about my eyes down to my shoulders, is my topsoil. From my shoulders all the way down to my knees is this much bigger subsoil layer. And then, from my knees continuing way down into the ground, starts to be the parent rock, the bedrock, down below. Now that's just one model. Obviously it's different depending on where the soil is. But that's a good estimate of how big the different soil layers are in North Carolina. Soil has a lot of life in it, and that's really important. Decomposers are our term for the little different kinds of animals and microorganisms, fungi, bacteria, and invertebrates, animals like worms and snails and slugs that don't have backbones, who help us decompose organic material, like what I have in this box, back into soil. So while these sit here, they can turn back into soil, and it takes a while, as you might imagine. But eventually, these things break down to be part of our soil. You can take a look at some of the life that's in the soil that you might have at home, around your house or in a park or garden where it's okay for you to dig just a little bit. Take a shovel, and if you have a sand sifter, like that you might use at the beach to shake sand and water through, take those out, or maybe a white sheet or a bucket, and put soil, just the top layer, not the pine straw, but just the first layer of soil underneath that, into your sifter and kind of shake. It'll help you separate the big pieces of soil from the little pieces, and it'll start to make lots of little organisms visible. Check out our guide online again if you want to see a little bit of advice about which of those organisms it's okay for you to pick up and which are not so good, like you don't want to pick up a centipede. But you can see a lot of cool animals, and it's a really great chance to explore some of that life that's in the soil. Now, soils of the future. This is one of the things I think is really cool about soil. As technology advances, we're learning to use soil for more and more different kinds of things. It's already helping our ecosystem and growing our food, but now it's also a source that we can make batteries out of. We can use the energy in soil and microorganisms in soil in order to generate power. Soil can help us clean up pollution. The microorganisms in soil can filter out different kinds of pollutants. We can use it to make medicines out of different kinds of soil. We can use soil to make biofuel and so much more. So soil is really important, and by helping preserve our soil, we help give ourselves all these future options to do those things. Now, I want to give everybody one last push to register for camps online, because we have some really awesome camps coming up, and some of them are already starting to fill up. So go ahead, go online and And one last little announcement, as we are moving forward into the gardens reopening and starting to host programs like our summer camps, we won't be able to do a online program like this every single week. We won't be able to do as many, but we've decided to continue some of our videos because they've been so popular. So we're going to go down to one video for our whole education team per week. So every week we'll have either an awesome preschool class with Elise that you might have been watching, or an awesome class for older kids and adults with me, or an awesome tour outside. So you'll still get one video every week, and we hope you join us for programs. Thanks very much. Bye.